So, if you're a comic fan or a movie fan of any sort, or, just like the casualties that happen in between, there's always that debate between Marvel and DC, which is better, right? And people are always arguing because even though, like, most of us don't work for the companies, we have to decide between one or the other and which is better, and there's always these fights and arguments, and the best one is Image Comics. But this video is about Marvel because I had tweeted out, what is your guys' favorite Marvel movie / Marvel moment? And if you don't know, this is part of the Your series that I do here on the channel. Pretty much I ask you guys something on Twitter, so go follow me on Twitter. Every Sunday I pretty much tweet out something asking you guys, so I asked you guys another one if you're watching this on Sunday. But this one is because there's a little movie called Infinity War that came out. Some people may have seen it. There's not going to be any spoilers for any Infinity War stuff in here, so don't even worry about that. Make sure of that. But the other 18 movies that are in the MCU, I'm hoping you've already seen them. Now, interestingly enough, I tallied up like the ones that were mentioned, like which were the best ones. And the top 3, like Avengers was up there with how, like they mentioned, it's in the top 5. But Captain America Winter Soldier, which I didn't doubt at all. Captain America Civil War, obviously. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I'm a bigger fan of the first Guardians, but I didn't know people loved Guardians that much, especially when it came down to the movie moments. So that's obviously the biggest part of it. Like, you have your favorite movie, but it's the moments within the movie that define it. Now, of course, I got a couple on Iron Man since, this is the OG one. This is the first one. Iron Man personally is my favorite one out of all of the movies that have come out. Not only did it come out in 2008, but y'all got to remember, this movie, like half of it takes place in a cave. Dude's stuck in a cave like Osama bin Laden, and it still is a standout in this big franchise. Not only does it have a bunch of iconic moments, but this was like one of 2 superhero movies that came out that year about rich boys who have a lot of money and become superheroes. One of them became one of the most popular, famous, best movies to make a video essay on, and then the other one started up, the most Fast and Furious franchise that is out there. But honestly, this to me is still one of the standouts. The ending line is dope as well. But there's another one within this franchise I also think too is probably one of the worst, but Iron Man 3, especially when it comes to that plane scene. And I'll say that I think a lot of people hate on Iron Man 3. I don't fully get it. I get that if you're like really into the comics and you saw that twist and you're like, yo, this is bogus. Like, imagine if you saw like the Joker, right? I mean, Suicide Squad kind of ruined the Joker. But like, imagine if like someone had the Joker and they said, yo, this is going to be him. And then it turns out he's like, oh no, it's just not even Two-Face. It's like some random person who pretended to be the Joker, and the Joker is just like some other guy sitting in a wheelchair. I understand that. I get how that can be frustrating. But overall, I thought the execution of the movie was done well, especially with scenes like the plane scene where those were actual people who were skydiving. They had the instructors there. It was like the footage of these people coming out. And honestly, I mean, obviously they got the money for it, but it just shows some of the countless scenes where they build some of the best action sequences out there. Of course, you get a lot of mentions for the main shot of Avengers where they actually assemble, and I completely forget about the one shot that was in this movie. I know a lot of people see it as a gimmick. I'm a fan. I'm a fangirl of the long takes that are in movies because of the way that it just entices you. It brings you in. I have no doubt it can be a gimmick, but just like everything else, it all depends on how you use it. And obviously this one isn't practical in any way, shape, or form, but the whole idea is that I know that the people who don't like them usually quote Alfred Hitchcock and saying, that cutting is the way to go, forgetting that my dude made a movie where it was all one long take, practically a play that he filmed and released it in theaters. It's called misquoting. The thing is that just like the way that you use a high angle shot to look down on somebody, and in reverse you use a low angle shot to make them seem mighty, a long take does the same thing, because without a cut, audience isn't blinking. That tension just keeps rising and rising and rising, be it practical, where I feel it's better, but even these CGI ones, War of the Worlds has one that's kind of similar to that as well. It increases the tension, especially in an action scene. Captain America Civil War was like the one I got the second most for in terms of moments, because obviously he's got the airport scene, which is completely fantastic, but it's that ending. And I think that's where it brings up a debate where everyone's so worried about Marvel DC. That ain't the problem. It's, for me, always been blockbusters versus indies, because there's always that mentality out there that the big public, they want the dumb blockbusters because they can't handle the intimate but boring indies, and vice versa. The critics don't like the blockbusters because they're too dumb and they need those little indie darlings. I hate that, right? Because I love both, and the fact is that you can get spectacle out of a low budget film, and you can also get some of the best heartwarming emotions out of a franchise. Because look at Logan. Without knowing Logan that long, that ending doesn't hit you the same way. And the same thing here. I've always been a fan of that quote that says villains are the heroes to their own side of the story, and especially in here where it's not even just another villain, right? It's not just that villain where you don't really care about him. It's not even like a good villain where you care about him but you still want him to lose. It literally was another hero on the other side. I thought it was fantastic. I'm not saying that this movie is underrated in any way, shape, or form, but this was the movie where the Martha scene got a pass. I mean, when Tony is furious and he's angry and fighting, and when he says that phrase about that being his mom, boy, I thought Chris Evans actually did something to Mrs. Downey. Speaking of emotion though, you guys really love Guardians of the Galaxy. And don't get me wrong, I love the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought the second one was okay, but I obviously need to rewatch it since you guys thought that Yondu scene is like the best scene in all the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I think it's great too, but and it continues to show what I've been saying. Comedies do drama right. Like, this is it's a talking raccoon and a walking tree. It is the least serious of the movies, and yet it clearly produced the most dramatic scene out of all of them. Comedies do it right. I got 2 Hulk ones. One said, actually, I think for me it would be the fight at Culver University in The Incredible Hulk, underrated. I too, I don't get all the hate for The Incredible Hulk. I've said that. I gotta probably watch it again. But another one would have been this one right here, where when Bruce Banner says, I'm always angry, turns into the Hulk, and just punches the alien. I used to like that one too. I also got a couple for the twist in Spider-Man Homecoming, which, in terms of twists, this is one of the best twists that was in the movie, right? Like, I'm not saying it's as good as the twists in Spider-Man 3, because those were as smooth as can be, but like the whole twist with Vulture, I think it adds to that whole idea, because, you know, with Infinity War, it just came out, no spoilers on it, but people are like, oh, Thanos finally a villain. We just got Killmonger. It's like everyone always wants to write an article about like, oh, finally the superhero movie that does a villain right, it fixes the problem. Vulture. Like, there's been villains. Malekith. When the Thor movies turn good, I've said this, yo, Thor out of nowhere became my favorite superhero, and honestly, it comes a lot from what Chris Hemsworth decided to do with the character. Like, behind the scenes, he's like, yo, enough is enough, and he wanted to make something with it. Thor Ragnarok is one of my favorites in the MCU. I will argue and fight for it. I've seen people talk some smack for it. I can put me in a debate with you. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna set you straight. And one of the ones, you know, if you didn't give it a chance, if you didn't like it, if it wasn't for you, that's fine. But I say definitely give it another chance, because it just seems like this. My favorite scene from the movie would definitely be that story that they told about the scene in the trailer where he says, oh, that's a friend from work, and he's referring to Hulk. They had a kid from the Make-A-Wish Foundation who was there, and he pretty much pitched that line to him, and they put it in the movie. And it was so good they put it in the trailer, and it's like moments like that shows that they actually have fun making these movies that some people would critique as being just stale products of blockbusters. Zod's neck. The street fight scene in Winter Soldier is actually pretty dope. I keep forgetting how good the choreography in that movie was, and just, you know, Chris Evans in general, and people really love him. But it was this one in particular that I got. The final showdown of the Winter Soldier. Cap, I'm not gonna kill you. You're my friend, Bucky, and I'm your mission. Cap, then finish it, because I'm with you till the end of the line. Maybe that fanfic does have a point. The use of Killmonger's theme and camera work to signify who is now in charge and the new vibe of Wakanda. I love the whole, not just the score, but the whole soundtrack to Black Panther. I would definitely highly recommend it. It's fantastic. Obviously, K-Dot did it, but a lot of people always complain that the scores in the Marvel movies are very boring, right? There's that video that's out there, and it's done pretty well, but Black Panther knocked it out of the park. Literally, if you watch Infinity War and you stay for the credits, the Black Panther theme is one of 2 that is actually credited in the music score. It's like the shortest thing in the credits. Quick note before I wrap up that I want to add this, because I haven't yet. Someone had tweeted at me that the ending of Black Panther happens in an Underground Railroad. For those wanting to add Infinity War to the list, I know some people, and again, no spoilers, want to put the ending into there. I say wait till next year. I don't think you'll keep it in there. However, the Why Gamora scene, if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, be prepared, because that is the funniest scene in the movie. But I'll wrap it up with this tweet that I got right here. There's a scene in Black Panther that means a lot to me. My brother and I are very close, and I love seeing this on screen. Shuri and T'Challa. See, to me, I think that that's the biggest point of it, right? When you're able to see these movies and it becomes something more than that, when they're actually events. I know that they're these big blockbusters. I know some people see them as dumb, but literally when I was watching the newest one, right, and I was watching it with a group of people, I watch so many movies every week, as you guys know. I go all the time, every Thursday, back-to-back movies. And out of all the movies that I watch, these are the movies where I go and I buy a whole road out for my family. These are the ones that we go to watch together. And I have it was like $100 worth just to go see Infinity War in Dolby, because these are the movies that we go out as a family to watch. And out of all the moments that make these Marvel movies special, literally the best moments that they bring are the ones that you share with your favorite people. Thank you guys for checking out this video. As always, let me know your thoughts down below. Like I said, follow me on Twitter. I got the new question up for this week, which is going to be, it's a slow week. Not really any big releases, so I have it on movie memes. Last year I had some pretty funny movie memes. There was the Mr. Policeman one from the Snowman. There was the Pennywise ones that I'm looking one over here. Anything with Nick Cage I'll accept. Give me the funniest ones, and then I'm gonna do that for next week's video. And even if you have any other ideas for the Yours series, anything that you want to do, like sequels, I have some things planned for upcoming releases, but let me know down below in the comment section. 2 things before you go. 1, I posted it below. Maybe it's not your type of music, maybe it's not, but my buddy Zach, he worked on a music video. Definitely go give him a shout out. Let him know your critiques. Hey, we like constructive criticism. If it's not your type of music, that's cool, but he worked hard on it. I'm proud of him. Definitely go check that out. Link down there below. And also, for those of you guys who don't know, I'm working on something with Marcus Cinemas, the best cinemas in the Midwest. So if you are anywhere like in Chicago or anywhere in the Midwest, definitely go check out a Marcus theater. But I'm working on a sponsorship with them that is not only going to help me to watch movies earlier, but on top of that, be able to not only get videos for you guys, but even get you guys hookups on tickets if you're in the area in any way, shape, or form. So whether you are in the Midwest or not, if you like the show, definitely go hit them up on Facebook or Twitter. Give them a follow. Tell them that ADZ talks about how they're the best theater in the Midwest, and that'll definitely be a big thing for the channel. So if you guys like the channel, you can support it like that. Go spam them in the most polite way possible on Facebook and Twitter, and maybe they'll even help me get the hookup for the next Avengers for you guys.